This is the MBRP Armorlite dual rear exit exhaust system fitting all 2011 through 2014 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150s. Now you guys should be checking out the street version of the Armorlite that we have on the table with us here today to add a little bit more volume along with that really iconic pickup truck look, all at a very affordable price point. Now this particular system is going to deliver that aluminized steel build throughout, along with a combination of both 2.5 inch and 3 inch mandrel bent tubing, and of course that rear exit design, all for right around the low $600 price point. So the Armorlite Street version that we have here today, again, is MBRP's answer for truck owners out there who want a very mild increase in volume over stock, but would ultimately prefer to keep things as budget friendly as possible. So leading to the sound, and let's break out our Wake the Neighbor scale. I'm gonna go soft 3 out of 5 here on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Yes, you are getting a good amount of bark here, there's no denying that, but more importantly is the fact that the MBRP maintains that nice deep tone throughout the rev range here, which I think is really important for an engine like the EcoBoost. Now sometimes the higher pitch systems can get a bit raspy, especially on these trucks, but that's not going to be the case here with the MBRP, as you guys heard with our sound clips. Now because this system does incorporate that street sound profile, and because this exhaust does dump basically behind the truck, the noise inside the cab is going to be very minimal and not drony whatsoever. All right, with the sound covered, let's get into our nuts and bolts here and what you can expect out of this very budget-minded system. And right up front, guys, we have to point out that the Armorlite is budget-friendly for a reason. And that reason being, it utilizes aluminized steel. Now, when companies typically utilize aluminized steel, they do so in a way to keep the cost to an absolute minimum, and that is going to be the case here as well. Now, the only downside to that material is that it's not as robust or maybe as good at preventing rust or corrosion as you would see with a full stainless system. So if you see a lot of road salt during the winter months, this might be something to consider. Now, with all that being said, you are still getting a 3-year warranty out of the aluminized steel, which is pretty solid given the material. Now, with the materials covered, let's get into the rest of the system, and it does start off with a 3-inch piece of tubing here, which basically enters your straight through perforated tube design before stepping down into 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing. Then everything is going to exit out of the twin 3.5-inch stainless steel tips embossed with the MBRP logo. Now again, this is the dual rear exit configuration, which in my opinion is going to deliver that traditional, dare I say, iconic look for any pickup, and this system will certainly look right at home on your EcoBoost at home. Now, finally, guys, the system does kick in all the necessary clamps, obviously the added hangers, and all of the hardware needed to get everything in place. Now, getting into our pricing segment here quickly, guys, and this system will land in that low $600 ballpark, give or take a bit, which does make this one of the more affordable systems for the EcoBoost powered trucks at this time. Now, if you did want to step into a different system that delivers a full stainless build, we do have a bunch here on site, in addition to some from MBRP, but just keep in mind, those stainless systems will increase the price ever so slightly, depending on which option you go with. All right, last but not least, let's shift gears and get into the installation. And the site's gonna call this a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. But now to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
First install, you need a 3/8 impact and ratchet, 3/8 extension, 15, 14, 13, 10, and 8mm Allen socket, 14mm wrench, exhaust hanger tool, diagonal cutters, zip ties, and also not shown be a lift and pull jack. All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our F-150. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock system. Then we'll come back here to install the new one.
Now the first step here for the uninstall is to grab a 13mm swivel socket. I find to be the easiest solution. If you do have a short socket, a 13mm short socket, that will also do the trick. I think this just makes life a little bit easier. So what we're gonna do is remove the two 13mm bolts holding on this factory flange right behind our resonator. Now once we have those two removed, we'll basically remove one other bracket holding an isolator to the frame, and from there we'll be able to pop everything out with our hanger removal tool. So step number one, let's get these two bolts out. So now I've got my 10mm swivel socket. I'm going to remove these two bolts. You want to keep in mind that this is going to start to lose some of its weight, so you want to have a hand on it so it doesn't drop down on top of you, but there are still a lot of points of connection. The next step, I'm going to use a hanger removal tool just to make life a whole lot easier, to just pinch and pop out all of these hangers from the isolators on the frame. I got my buddy Andrew here to help me out because it will come down all in one piece. Now, if you're working on the ground, it's not too big of a problem to just have it fall right on the cement, but we have it up in the air. I don't want to get bonked in the head, so I'm going to use this and my buddy to help me out here. So we're going to pinch this out, pull it out in one piece. So it seems like all of our hangers are pretty rusted. They're giving me a lot of trouble. So what I'm gonna do is treat them just like we treated our first bracket. Just use my 10mm socket. I'll remove all the bolts holding them from the frame and bring them down and remove them off the truck. Might make lives a little bit easier. If yours are coming out of the hanger isolators, that's great. But for us, giving us a little trouble, so we'll just pop them all off of the frame.
Now that our factory exhaust is off, we just need to remove our hangers to swap them over to our new exhaust. Now since they are stuck in there a little bit, I use a little bit of spray lubricant, spray it on the other side of the hanger, and use our exhaust hanger tool and pull them off. I already did that on the rest of them, just doing that first one here. We get these off. All right, now those are ready to go back onto the truck. So we're gonna start by getting our front pipe installed. You'll see I slid our flange over our front pipe. So where we have our rolled edge up here, we're gonna slide that all the way forward. Have a pull jack here, just help holding things in place. We'll let that rest, and we're gonna grab our supplied bolts. I have a bolt with a flat washer, put that through the front, and then I have a flat washer, lock washer, and then our nut on the back side. Let's do the same thing for the other side. All right, we're just gonna leave that loose for right now. It's also good to mention that since ours is a super cab with a 6.5 foot bed, we don't need to cut this or use our extension pipe. You may need to on whatever design your truck has. So we're gonna be reinstalling our front factory hanger right here. So we're gonna grab that, grab two of our 10mm bolts that we took out, thread those in, grab our ratchet with our 10mm socket and tighten those down. So we're going to be using a clamp hanger in this spot. What I mean by that is we have our supplied hanger. It's going to lock into our clamp like so. We're going to squeeze it and lock it in to the nut like that. Now it's going to go over our front pipe and into our factory hanger. Now we're ready to get our muffler on. You'll see I put our 3-inch clamp over the end. You just want to make sure that you can read the logo. It'll be facing towards the outside of the vehicle. Just gonna slide that over our front pipe here. And we can start getting our rear pipes on. Now we're gonna continue on our passenger side. So we're gonna grab our pipe that doesn't have any hangers on it. We're gonna slide that into the passenger side of the muffler. That's just gonna twist and just rest right there for right now. but we'll get our next pipe on with our rear hanger. Now we're gonna get our next section on. So we're gonna have our hanger up at the front here. We already have our 2.5 inch clamp on. I'm gonna slide this, actually we're gonna put our factory hanger on. Slide that on. Put some spray lubricant on there just to make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna slide this over the pipe we just put on. And we could grab a couple 10mm bolts and get that mount bolted up in place. So we're just gonna get our factory hanger tight here. So we have one bolt on the bottom, one bolt on the inside of the frame here. It's just kind of hard to see. But just grab your impact, extension, and 10mm swivel socket, and you tighten those two down. So we have our driver's side over the axle pipe next. As you can see, I already have our clamp on our muffler. Now this is gonna be the longer pipe with the hanger that is on the bottom here. We're gonna grab our single mount hanger and slide that on. And get this fed into the muffler here. And then we can get our hanger in place and thread in our 10mm bolt. Go ahead, grab your impact, extension, 10mm swivel, tighten that down. So we're gonna install our last pipe here. That's gonna be our driver's side tailpipe. We already have our clamp on. We're just gonna slide it up over the axle pipe. We're just gonna let that rest here for right now. We need to install a hanger and an isolator for this hanger right here. So we're gonna start with our nut clip for the hanger. Just gonna slide in through this square hole here, and it'll fit into that circle slot. So we're gonna grab our mount, just make sure your isolator is slid on like so. We're gonna slide that over our exhaust, and then we can thread our bolt in. So we're gonna have our bolt with a lock washer and then our flat washer, go through our bracket, and then into our nut clip. Grab your ratchet, a 13mm socket, and tighten that down. So we're gonna start by tightening our front flange and adjusting as we need to. You'll see that the pipe is angled down and then straight out. And then we'll tighten our bolts now. So we have 14mm socket, 14mm wrench. So we have our two clamps at the front of our muffler, our hanger and our actual clamp, impact and 15mm socket. We'll tighten those down. Before you tighten your muffler down, just make sure that it's level. We're gonna come back to the back of our muffler to make sure you have your pipes adjusted where they need to be. This driver's side one doesn't really move much because of the hanger, but we'll tighten these two clamps down. Same thing, impact and 15mm socket. So for our pass-through tailpipe, I just actually have a tip on there, so I can just adjust this to where it needs to be, get the right angle, and then tighten this last clamp down here. And we can go ahead to the driver's side. So before we secure our last bracket here, as you can see, our lines are touching our exhaust. They may not be this close when the truck is on the ground, but just in case, we're gonna grab a zip tie. Just zip tie this all together, just to keep it all off the exhaust. Grab a pair of diagonal cutters, just cut off the extra there, and we can secure this clamp. So we're gonna tighten our last clamp here. I do have a tip on the end just to keep it in the right position. You can see it moving here. Once you get it in the right position, we'll just tighten this down. Last thing we need to do is put our tips on, so you can stick these on as far out as you want. We have them pretty much out here or all the way in. We're gonna do a little bit in the middle here, right about so. Just make sure they're level. Grab your impact and 8mm Allen socket, tighten that down. And go ahead and do the same thing for the other tip. And that wraps up our install of our MBRP Armor Light dual exhaust system with polished tips. for a rear exit on our 2011 and 2014 3.5 liter EcoBoost F-150. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.